Okay. With any luck, this is going to start to go a little smoother. All right. Apologies, I tried to start this stream about 4 times, and for whatever reason, Streamlabs OBS didn't want to talk to YouTube. YouTube wanted to do its own thing. This is going to start to go a little smoother. Hey, look, I can hear myself talking. Let me fix that. And for whatever reason, in my editor, the chat buffer is not working. It tells me to sign in. If I wasn't signed in, the video wouldn't be streaming. So I don't know. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Maybe that's a bad omen of what's going to be happening tonight. Who knows? Let's see. It looks like I'm going to need to go to a different screen to see the chat buffer. Makes me wish I'd left the second monitor plugged in, but I needed the desk space. So if you can hear me and see me okay, please tell me that in the buffer. Otherwise, I'll have to start and restart this again. Okay, let's see if we can make this work any better. Boy, Streamlabs, you're not making my life any easier tonight. Well, we got the printer. We had to clean off some space, but we got room for the printer. That's good. Hey, JDC. All right, so you can hear me. Good. That's a good sign. Unfortunately, I can't type back into the chat. This thing keeps prompting me to sign in. And as I mentioned earlier, I have no idea why it's doing that. Okay, good times. So, as usual, I have a couple cameras up and running. I got the tall camera up over here. This is my primary. And then we got in the corner over here, we have the other HD camera. This way you can, in case I missed any spots, you can see over there. And here at ground level, we have the handheld HD camera. And Baby Yoda in the background is hopefully going to provide us with some good luck. Arion reimbursed me for the purchase of this printer, so I'll just get that out. This printer, unfortunately, I can't share my screen because I unplugged that second monitor, which seemed like a good idea. This printer is smaller than the other printers I've had here before. Just about everything in here is 300 by 300 by 400. A few of them are bigger. The Ultimaker is smaller. This guy, let's see, as I recall, I want to say it was close to the Ultimaker size of 250 by 220 by 200. So it's a little guy, small box, and it's going to be fun to put this guy together. Hey, Caleb. Hopefully the sound levels are working good. Video is clear. Looks like I'm running on about a 37-second delay between what I'm saying and you getting it. The joys of living in the boonies. I know people are going to ask about the other printer that I had unboxed, the new reel. What's that? M18S, I think it is. That's printing very, very well, and I'll have a new video to update everyone that watched that very short unboxing because it had issues. So let's get this guy opened up. As I mentioned, if you're just tuning in, and unfortunately I don't have my second monitor, so I can't share the screen, but this is a little guy. It's not as big as the other printers that we usually have here. And hopefully I gave myself enough room in the cameras. Let's go to the other one right here. Okay. And of course, I put eardrops in a little while ago, and I have one ear still plugged up. Joy. And we have a very small offering of filament to its credit. It is vacuum packed, and they got the desiccant in there. May or may not use that. We have a user manual rather. Looks like it's pretty well laid out. Calibrate and print. They get some quick assembly. Some configuration stuff here. Just kind of thumbing through if they actually show you any of the installation. And I'm not really seeing anything that covers how it's put it together. I've seen others put theirs together, so I'm kind of going off memory. Looks like they have prepared an assembly guide. It's on an SD card in the printer. Okay, so I guess we'll get that information from the card. All right, let's check this guy out. Oh wow, it's a lot smaller than I expected. All right, so here we go. So essentially, this is identical as far as the hot end goes and the extruder and everything else to what I already have, the Thinker S and SE. And as you can see on the camera angle here, let me get this aimed over, they have already included, they call it a 3D Touch, which is their version of a BL Touch. Most everything kind of snugs in here. Yeah, this looks pretty much identical to the what I already have on the other Thinker printers. So once we get this gantry lower down here, we'll get this guy over the gantry, and it looks like it just attaches in 2 points. Huh. That looks kind of neat. All right, let's put that over here. Okay, so I haven't seen any lead screws yet, so I am under the impression that I will be attaching those. That must be in here. And wow, there's everything. There's our SD card. We have our interesting install screws. I think they meant install. Sorry, not to pick on you guys, but Google Translate is your friend. Extra gift and spare screws. These have come in very handy on the other Thinkers. It's always good to have spare nozzles. You got a tool kit. Got a pretty nice little scraper. And filament holder. All right. All the standard offerings. And see, we get some foam here. I hope these camera angles are working out okay for you guys watching from home. Okay, we have a United States power cord. And let's find a safe spot to wrap this. Wow, this is kind of sharp looking. And yeah, that's a small bed. I mean, compared to what I've been running. Oh, let's see. This is an old, yeah, so compared to a 300 by 300, it's definitely a lot smaller than I'm used to. But I'm sure we'll find some use for it. That belt feels pretty loose. But that may be the kind of stuff that we just have to fix on setup. Okay. Down you go. Well, so pretty much 3 wires will complete the installation. And let's see, is everyone able to, I can tip that down a little bit more if that's helpful. Dun dun dun. Another box for the cats. Yes, that is correct. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to be good. I'm going to grab the SD card here. We will look at their instructions. I have my own USB adapter sitting over here. Okay, sorry for the beeping you're hearing. Let's see. Assembly guide. And it's an MP4. Okay, so it's a video guide. Gotcha. Well, I'm going to scroll through this very quietly. And I think the one thing I didn't pull out of our box, it's tucked to the side here. Yes. This is going to make printing so much easier having, let me go back here, is the lead screws. I know. Call me crazy. So I'm going to move you to the front of the table. I tried to time this so that my friends that are in the other time zones would have an opportunity to catch me live, being just over 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Okay. Well, pull it down that way, because this shrink wrap is fighting me every step of the way. Yes, the lead screws are going to make this thing printing a breeze. Okay, so they have this guy up here. Razor. Okay, so they got okay, they got that jammed up there so that the gantry will not free fall. Okay, we gotta get you in over there. Gotcha. And once we get that guy threaded, now it goes in. Let me just let's get our little handy cam here. Move over so you guys can have a better idea what I'm doing. I think that's a C615. Yeah. So as you can see, this goes into a little cap here at the top. So that's as high as it will go. Same story on the other side. Okay, the fun part is going to be aligning all of this, but that'll be fun too. All right, dun, dun, dun. And I'm going to scroll through their little video here where I can turn off the sound. Boom. Okay, and it is a yeah, it's an ARRI sensor. So it's not a 3D touch, it's not a BL touch, it's an ERYONE sensor. So it looks like they have made their own version. Okay, I'm looking at their little video here, and yeah, I'm doing everything right, which, as you guys know, is usually not my usual way of operating. Okay, so let's get this guy seated in here. Okay, lead screw. Thunk. And I want to give you guys a good view of what's going on this side here. There's a few interesting things. So everything's plugged into these nice channels. Actually, you know what? I came prepared with some additional light. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, that's kind of killer bright, but what I wanted you to see is they have some screw holes here on the side, and you get some light on that over here, where it's going to bolt in. And we also have that on the other side as well. So it looks like at this step we have the gantry in, but we have to go in from the bottom and secure it with the screws. And then once that is done, we will secure these couplers. Let me move that light again. And let's go. Dun, dun, dun. So, fun fact, yes, I decided that, yeah, I've had an ear issue going on for the last 2 weeks. And for whatever reason, I can't get the fluid out of one ear. So, I'm flying on one operating ear. So, yay me. The instructions were pretty clear that this just slides in. Let's just double check, make sure I haven't missed anything dumb. They show securing the lead screw first. And I don't think it really makes any difference which way you go, but let's see what they do. Oh, actually, they're doing, okay, got it. Wish I could share the monitor with you. We're doing these screw holes back here first. Let's go to the other camera. Dun, dun, dun. And one, two. The interesting thing is I have all kinds of different size screws. There we go. So my running theory is that I'm using these guys maybe? Because I have M4 and M5. And let's check one more, because this is I'm going through the bag of hardware. I got looks like M4 and M5, and I'm just trying to. I see their assembly guide video. I see their user manual, which I already have. I'm just checking their video real quick if they mention the closed captioning, what goes where. And they don't, but I'm noticing they don't use washers. So if I was a betting man, I'll go with this guy. Good, good. All right, and that's going to be I just want to use the right size here. Oh, that's too bad. It's going to be a little too small. Perfect. Let's get that guy out. And let's go to the toolkit. That's the guy. I was hoping to be able to do that with a ratcheting screwdriver or some sort of power tool, but just not meant to be this time. And hopefully you guys can see this all right. If not, I can move that over for a little bit better lighting. So what's interesting about this is you have supports from this side, the back, and the bottom, which is good since you don't usually have, like with the CR10 style printers, usually you'd have like a T-brace on the side. So interesting design choice. Okay, same story over here. This is a pretty sleek looking little printer. The Arion devices I have been the Thinker S and the Thinker SE. Only difference between the two is the S is the stainless steel bed, the SE is the glass bed, and they're both printing very well. Both have a similar issue where they both needed to have their gantries realigned. Basically, just loosening the couplers and putting them back on. The one that has the spring steel bed has been very impressive, and the glass bed one has been very good too. Okay, these guys are in. Let's refer to the video. See what they want me to do next. I imagine the next step is going to be securing it from the bottom, but let's double check. No, they want the, so we're going to be doing these guys. Now, one thing I'm going to do, which I feel is kind of cheating a little bit, and let me go to the 922. This guy on the front here, they have little numbers, okay, on each side, and that helps you line everything up to make sure that your gantry is level. So before I do any tightening like that, what I want to do, let me get both of you guys facing that way, and I want to take a look at that gantry from the front, and let me move you over. Let's look at the beam. Let's make sure you're right at, in this case, 20. And where are you? You're right there. Good. The reason I'm doing that is that has bitten me several times on these style printers. So now that I know that the gantry is level, I can go ahead and tighten these fellas. Oh, you did it already, didn't you? $23, okay. Well, it's just you want to, it's no fun because there's no way to synchronize these guys. Some printers have like a pulley and a belt, which is really slick. But, and granted, the BL Touch will account for a lot of this, but when possible, let's make everything good and square. There we go. And there. All right, those guys are as level as I can make them. And boy, I'd really like to put a little bit more torque on that thing. Okay. Ta-da. Those boys are in. Good, good. Now that that is done, okay, this guy's still bouncing around over here. That's okay. So now, let's try not to crush anything here. And let's go to a camera where you can see what's going on. So this is the bottom of the printer. Power supply fan. I can see the control board here. That's the cooling fan for that. Interesting factoid. Notice that we haven't had to check the voltage. These printers are set up so that if they're going to the United States, that they are going to be pre-configured for 115 volt. And I still wish that they had a design where we could actually quickly go in there and check that, but from what I've seen from their videos, to get in there and do that is an impressive chore, to say the least. Just an interesting design choice they made. Okay, again, I'm going to cheat a little bit here because power tools are our friends. Let's see how this goes. Oops, sorry. Okay. Just to be sure. Okay, these, notice the big feet here. So I would expect these to have been, flush or gone further into the case, but you get the feet there to cover the distance. All right, let's get you turned around without damaging the print head as you kind of swing around. Yeah, that's the bed slide. Good, good. Okay, let's do it 2 more times. So this might be one of the few printers that we really do have up and running in 15 minutes. Had I not taken the time to skim through their video. Good. Oh. Good job. Oh, I suppose I should put the knob on the front of you here. There you are. Okay, well, let's check their video. I suspect that the 2 screws I have left are going to hold this guy in. I also have some nice clips for the bed. These are really quite excellent. These are just little L-shaped. They got a thumb screw in the top so that they, I don't know if the camera's going to play nice and catch that or not, but it just goes on the bed. So the binder clips are just temporary, holding the glass bed onto the heated bed. Let me grab that second monitor and take a look. And it looks like the next step is putting this guy on. Good. Sorry, the camera is kind of blasting with the light. It's a challenge of lighting up the room for filming, but trying not to have the camera face the light. So, all these guys, you should fit flush like that. The hot end, it's just identical to what the other thinkers have. I'm sure someone's going to be able to name off exactly what kind of make and model it is. I don't know. Seems to be a rather generic, but works. Okay. Although this 2020 rail, is the same thing. Make sure you're on there tight. Yeah. Is the same stuff that you see on the CR10s and of course the ERYONEs and other stuff. So if you really wanted to tweak this, you could put a CR10 carriage on this and have some fun. The one thing about these printers that is a sore spot for me, and I know for a few other friends of mine that have talked about this, there are no eccentric nuts, okay? So whatever they have done at the factory to make sure that the wheels have good friction to the rails, that's all you got. So I'm going to remove these foam pieces here. So as these wheels wear in, it'll be interesting. I know on my my other two thinkers it hasn't been an issue, but it's one of those things I wonder about over time. This has something nice right here. You have two little screws here that allow you to adjust the tension on this belt. This belt is a little on what I consider the loose side. So real quickly I can just, with the right tool of course, and give that a few spins to loosen it up. Give you a pull. That side looks like it didn't quite pull in as much as I'd hoped. Really takes a few turns to get that guy loosened up. Well, I've loosened this up and pulled it, and I don't feel like I'm making a lot of... I wish I had a built-in tensioner where it automatically pulled this back for me, but... Because I've moved this back. Okay, I feel better about that one. Alright, we have all these cables. We'll spin that around when it's time to do that. Let's look at their instructions since I deviated a little bit. I did put the hot end on. Okay, they're showing the connecting of the cables. So we will do that next. Let's get you spun around over here. And let me stick my head under here. Okay. He goes there. And this is E0. Where does E0 go on that board? And he goes over here. Okay. So one to the board. It's interesting when they pre-wire these harnesses, how much wire they give you. Okay, so we have wired up X, which has a nice little label here. E0 is our extruder, and this guy fit in flush nice with a power. I don't know what that open jack is, but I'm curious. So far, so good. I think our next step is going to be the spool holder. Is what they're showing. And since this is smooth, yeah, it looks like our spool holder is going to sit in the channel up there. I have an extra screw. I'm curious where that goes. Actually, two. So is there, well, hang on a second. I'm expecting this to be like a rail, but I'm curious if there are holes up there. I can't see that. Yep. There are two little holes up there. So inside this guy, let me, there is the two holes right there. That's where the spool holder is going to thread into. I was expecting T-nuts. Clever. So maybe 15 minutes was optimistic. Well, now that I know what I'm doing, maybe that would be more accurate. Okay, let's see if I can. And other belt. That's pretty loose too. Right, so how am I doing on my viewers? Is YouTube updating me? Can't tell. So the one other thing I may do, while I have this guy with tools in front of me, is maybe, wow, I really got that tight. Again, just force of habit. Impossible. Do these things now. But the other thing too is you don't know how long this printer's been sitting in a box, so granted this is a brand new model, but still. Okay, that belt is way better than before. The next steps they show I didn't see where they talk about the build plate yet, but we're going to do that. So let's get you guys off of here. They really like their shrink wrap. Wow, these things are pretty. All wrapped up. Oh, my word. And just when you think you're done with the shrink wrap, there's more. Is there an opening or is this sealed? Oh. Razor blade to the rescue. Oh, finally. Okay, well, suffice to say that the last bed is sealed in quite nicely. Okay. Good job, guys. Let's go back to the other camera here. Let's get rid of some of the shrink wrap before the cats find it. These things are amazing. It's just a plastic little dial here, and oops, let's get you almost all the way out. Way better than binder clips. You don't have to worry about them hitting anything. What's nice is these things are just on the very edge. This is nice. They're winning me over with these clever little conveniences. So I'd say we're just a few minutes away from first power up, and I don't know if they included a profile. If it's the same hardware, I could probably just use my Simplify 3D profile. I'm not sure the build size of like a Ender 3 or what have you, but I'm sure size-wise this is probably what this would be a direct competitor to. Not sure how it ranks on the pricing, but so far so good. That is done. Let's I think the next step is the first power on. Looks like that's correct. And I should have a power cord kicking around here. And for whatever reason, the power switch was in the on position. And where's our video? Come on, guys. And dun dun dun. No video. Huh. Well, these live streams are always a challenge, aren't they? Why do I have no video? My BL Touch is blinking, or in the red position, so that worked. Well, so I'm hoping I don't have to take this thing apart and find out what's wrong. Because part of me wonders if the voltage isn't set correctly. Or if it's just a cable loose somewhere. So that tells me an LCD cable probably popped off. Let's unplug this guy. And as the glass bed goes flying backwards, let's tip you back. Alrighty. So to get at the bottom here, I am guessing that all these lovely things I bolted in are going to have to come out. And I wonder how many millions of these I gotta pop off. All right, well. If we have a loose cable that popped off, that's unfortunate. Hello, Trevor. All right, well, I guess the bane of all these overseas printers is quality control, so, but sometimes things pop loose. I would have expected that they probably would have used hot glue or something to secure cables, but hello, Trevor. All right, how many thousands of these screws do I got to pop off here? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, feeder off, so now it's down to the M3s. Good grief. Maybe. All right. That's torqued on there pretty good. Better check them all. And okay, well, another one of those printers that go together in 15 minutes and are printing. I keep waiting to get one. But hopefully this is an easy fix. Okay, those guys have all been untorqued. Well, you guys get to see what's inside the box. And this guy. Because I forgot to untorque that one. I was not getting fan noise, at least not yet. All right, and we have 4 more to go. No, surprisingly, no fan noise. I know on both of my thinkers, I had to loosen the screws slightly because all the way tight it would make contact with the shielding or duct or whatever it is. And all right. No, I didn't break it. We don't have the LCD screen is not working. Okay. And there's our problem right there. Cable is disconnected. So in a perfect world, those would have been hot glued. In a really perfect world, after this printer was put together, they would have powered it on and checked it. That may have come off in shipment. I'll give them that. I do like that connector to the power supply. That's pretty industrial. As you can see, here's the power supply on this side over here, and you can't tell what the what its settings are unless you remove one of these guys. Yep. So. All right, let's go back to another camera. And geez, can I tip this guy back this way? I just want to leave that cover dangling. I want to power it on and make sure that that's really the problem, or make sure there are no other problems. Okay, let's go to the other. Okay, Okay, let's see if we get a... Yeah. Okay, I'm powering off. Okay, that was it. Good job, Trevor. I reached out to Trevor right away. I said, Trevor, I got no video. Yeah, he knew the problem right away. Okay, now the fun part, putting a bazillion of these screws back in. Okay, so yeah, we powered on to make sure. So, wow. Okay, once you get the first screw in there, life is a little easier. Well, if you're entertained and you're not a subscriber already, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you want to donate to the beer glass, the beer fund, yeah, what am I doing down here without a beverage? What kind of crazy man am I? Thank you for allowing me to entertain you tonight. Okay, so this is going to be the foot. Yeah, I think if good to know, Trevor. I think one thing would be worth mentioning to our friends at Arion is they definitely need to add some hot glue to those connections. I'm sure they've figured that out already if I'm not the only one that's encountered this, but just for good measure. And they're pretty responsive, even if they won't give me my damn eccentric nuts. And unlike them, I'm not going to torque these to a ridiculous amount of force. Okay, that's the foot, that's the foot. Trevor, have you, I thought someone had said in the discussion groups that they had to change the E-steps on this thing, which isn't hard to do, but I'm just curious how much of the stock settings you liked and what you changed. Oh, come on, get in there. And let's do the feet. Well, sounds like the cats are awake. Reading what Trevor wrote. Okay, good. move this guy to the end here where I can get a better angle on it. Oh, side down a little bit. Theodore the Barbarian, what are you up to? Boy, the tolerances between the hole and the screw on this one is pretty stinking tight. So note to self, don't tighten anything until they are all in. You want this thing to sag a little. Why in the world? Why that? Why? There's always one. I'm just at a loss why you're not threading. Well, if you ever have to take the back of this thing off, it is, or the bottom rather, it is not a good time. I think it's how thin that metal is. It really wants to bend everywhere. Yeah, this stuff is pretty thin. Okay, getting there. Finally. Theodore, what are you doing? Okay, now we're just tightening up the M3s. If you're still viewing and still watching, thank you. And okay. Now the big stuff. And let's hold that build plate. Nice. Let's get you powered up again. Okay, good job. Printer's ready. So let's reflect on their video and see what the first thing to do is. Okay, they say calibrate Z. Configuration, maybe? Did I see that right when I scroll through there? Yep. Sure. Okay. Boom. Preheat. Oh, the bed? Is that what they say to do? I'm skimming through their video. The one thing, like I said, the only thing I have for a reference here is their little display video. And yeah, their video, God, you know, for all the times they've written crappy manuals, this would be the one time a manual would be good. Yeah, you're right. So let's power you off and on. Marlin 2.0.5.3. Hello, Keith. Okay, let's go to temperature. Let's go to bed. Let's go for 60. And go back to the info screen. Check the lead screws and nut bolts. Oh. You're talking about where the brass attaches? Check the lead screw nut. Yeah. They don't feel loose, man. They feel pretty tight. Okay, that's heating for a second. Okay, I departed and I returned with water. So, I'm going to reflect on their video real quick while we're doing this. I wish in their video they actually, it's really hard to see that LCD screen. Calibrate Z. So I'm assuming we're going to use a piece of paper as we usually would. You know, some of this stuff would be nice if they had closed captioning. We're at 51 degrees. Okay, if you're just joining in, welcome. Let me kick off the other camera here. Welcome. My name is Paul. This is my channel where nerdy is cool. We have the Arion ER-20. We've had a few hurdles to get through. I'm still waiting to receive that printer that's 15 minutes from box to printing. This one, the LCD cable was popped off the motherboard, so we had to go in there and go fetch that. Other than that, the assembly hasn't been that bad. We don't have an assembly instructions. We have an assembly video. But honestly, after doing enough of these, it wasn't too bad to figure out. We are at 60 degrees Celsius on the bed. We're going to give that a few minutes to stabilize. And this guy has its own, what did they call it there? The airy sensor or something. It's, how do I say it courteously? It's another copy of the BL Touch, basically. Oh, yours was 20? Yeah, it's because everything worked in your specials. And so there it is. I'm going to give it another minute before I mess with this. I'm curious what the size of my paper is. I'm just going to use this thing, because this thing must have baby stepping. So, and I should probably, while we're thinking of that, I should find some filament. Gee whiz, I have all kinds here. What should I use? Well, how about, I have all kinds of Arion marble left over, so. It's time to install the filament. It's all set to go. Okay, so it's been at 60 degrees Celsius for about 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to go to configuration. Dun, dun, dun. Calibrate Z. Yes. Boy, it really kind of throws itself into those corners. It when it makes those movements, it's I'm trying to get it so you can see both the screen and what's going on the printer itself. It's a little tough with the lighting. Okay, move the nozzle until it touches the bed, and oop. Ah, that's quite a variation. Here, I'm at 0.1, and it's quite loose. If I go down to the next one, it's kind of a death grip. I mean, it's interesting because that's where 0, 0, 0 is, and it's I mean, the paper fits under there. Huh, okay. Sure. Beep. Okay. So that's how the oh, that's what that crashing around was, Hensler's homing? Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. There are no sensors in here. Very good. Glad I asked. So that has been done. It turned out that 0, 0, 0 was perfect. And so what I'm going to do now is let's go to motion, move axis, and let's move Z. Let's bring you up about 70. Because I'm very interested to see if my gantry is level. Okay, okay, let's move X over. Okay, I am at that tick mark here, but I'm a little low right there, and I can't do anything with the steppers turned on. Disable steppers. Okay, those look good. Because what I'm doing is I'm looking at each one of these little tick marks. So right there, he's right at 17, and right over here, if the focus plays nice for me, is right at 7. Why is these cameras such a PETA today? Anyway, due to Logitech being stupid, you're going to have to take my word for it. And we are now okay, then let's go to our change filament. I don't see a, I know the custom one that I have on the other printers, they had a load and unload, which was nice, but all right. So it's going to wait for a filament change to start. Now the tricky part with this printer has always been this. And what's going on is when you feed the material into the side here, which I will eventually do here, but it's getting it through the hole. Let me start this and I'll promise to better explain it. So what happens when it's time to load, you have to open this guy, guide him in there, and then try to get into the hole through the coupler. And always a challenge. Okay, nozzle heating is at 197. Hello, Fernando. Okay, so now it's doing the waiting for filament unload. So it's sitting there pretending to be unloading. It's going through its little motions. Insert filament and press button to continue. All right. And see, this is what always happens to me. You try to feed the filament and it goes up in the air. So the solution is to twist it. Well, I'm in, but I'm hitting something. So maybe I need to snip the end here. Yeah, the minute I put that filament in there, it just wants to go somewhere else. Let me see if I can straighten you out. Hey, there we go. Now we got it. Boys, oh boys. Okay, let's push you all the way into the hut. I'm not sure how far this thing's gonna feed, but there we go. And okay, I've put it as far as it'll go, and this thing is heating up again. Well, there's something to be said for direct drive. We're to say that. I don't have many Bowden printers. I have really learned to love direct drive. Okay, I'm just going to clean the bed. Oh boy, that's warm. There. Okay, nozzle heating, it's heading to 200. I wonder if they only gave us a Cura profile. Insert filament and press button to continue. It's been done. Nozzle heating, please wait. Okay, waiting for filament purge. Okay, we're getting all kinds of black filament. Well, the fact that I'm getting old material tells me that they did indeed have this printer turned on one time, so that LCD cable must have popped off in transit. All right, we got some marble, but I want to purge some more. All kinds of stuff coming out. Yeah, all my CR10s are running those Creality DDSs, and you know, they were expensive, but boy, it worked so well. And that is all set. Now, they have on this drive, they have some pre-sliced files that I suspect that they are probably huge prints. So let's go ahead and take their SD card there and plug it inside. Well, just like everybody else, it has to be upside down. Yep. Okay, well, we're trying to get that card in there. Boy, you really got to push that all the way in. That is so weird. Okay, so let's see what they got on here. Print from media. Well, I guess we're going to go with test number 1. So for a little bed like this, I assume they're doing a 3x3 grid. Okay. Theodore was being a bit of a monkey. Let's see what happens. Vertical galaxy filament, nice. Okay, let's see what kind of that's an interesting choice. I thought for sure this would have homed in the center, which is what I have my other printer set to do. All right, let's see what happens here. Of course, I use very gray filament on a largely gray bed. And I'm looking for baby step. There we go. And I'm bringing it a little closer to the bed. I wish this had done a prime, whether I did a blob or something here. to get that material moving through, but so be it. JDC asks, do I have any TH3 easy boards? No, I do not. I love the idea of silent drivers on those machines because they are rather loud. I know one of my friends has an easy board and he's had some struggles because he went to install a Bondtech direct drive system like I have on mine, and he's had some challenges. And I've seen where he's posted on the TH3D site for some support and some questions, and he's had some responses, probably not as many as I would have expected. But then again, he could also create a ticket with TH3D. They tend to be pretty good. Supposedly, Creality has add-on boards that are quiet drivers, but I know Chet installed one to try to get some improvement with his Ender 3s, and I think the video I saw 2 weeks ago didn't see he didn't see any improvement. He still had a lot of ringing issues and some other stuff. Well, so as you can hear, this is a fairly quiet printer. I haven't done anything with Merlin 2.0, so that whole process of getting that set up and working is a bit of a mystery to me. I'm curious if I do upgrade my CR10s to that board, you know, what do I set my, you know, voltage, amperage, whatever. What do I set those to so that my, you know, my Bondtech, you know, pancake motor will be happy as well as the other drivers. $2226 TMCs. Huh, you must be on the bleeding edge. I don't know what that is. So it's very quiet. I believe these are 2209 drivers on all the axes. Let me double check that to be sure, because I thought it was. Yep, 32-bit motherboard, TMC 2209, auto leveling sensor. It's got power failure protection. It's got a special metal plated nozzle. I think this will let me share some of that information with you right here if you guys are interested in reading that. So I'm not sure what it's printing. My apologies. That was I really didn't think it through here. I grabbed ERYONE marble filament, and I'm printing on a bed surface that's black and white. Sorry. Oh boy. I really should have grabbed, you know, one of the dark blues or reds or what have you. Yeah, that would be a worthy upgrade, though. Definitely bringing those CR10s into newer boards and silent. But I would definitely have to educate myself on how to use a configurator. All right, so I'm opening up all these new tools that I have. So, extra set of stuff here. Probably label that. I've gotten to the point where so many printers I have to individually label bags. And this is not a boast. This is just, obviously I have a passion for this. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, this is number 14. Oh, jeez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm losing count. I really am. Yeah, the 2209 does run cooler. That was the big sell on those. Trying to count these and remember how many I got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, good. I'm not that crazy. There are 14 printers in the lab. And I can name them off if you're interested. Let's see, we have the Anycubic Chiron. That is a big printer. That's had a lot of issues. That was sold to me for $100. It was the Amazon return that Anycubic offered me. They said if I needed any parts, they'd offer. And I'm definitely going to need to take them up on that offer. We have 3 CR10S printers. All 3 of those have been upgraded to the Bondtech Direct Drive system, which I love. Let's see what else we have here. We have the Fulvertech series of printers. We have the 3, FT5, and FT6. The FT6 it has been printing like a champ lately. It took a long time to get that guy to where it's at now, and I definitely need to do an update video on that. We have the ERYONE Thinker S and Thinker SE. Again, the only difference between them is their bed surface. One is spring steel EI, and the other one is a glass bed. Both print very well. There is the new reel. What is that? It's a M18-S. Yeah, I don't know what the 18 stands for. Nothing in that printer has an 18 in it, but whatever. And it falls under the category of similar to the other printers here, just yet another CR10 clone. It has a 32-bit board. I think it's called a Robin, a maker-based Robin, something like that. And the direct drive doesn't have any tension adjust to it. It's working well. And the touchscreen is kind of unusual, but it also has a, I mean, everything on it's a clone. I've seen 3 or 4 printers that look just like it. And I don't know if this is going to be like that one printer that has 5 different brand names. I don't know. But it's interesting because I know the least about that machine. I've been spending a lot of time with the Simplify 3D profile. And it's printing really, really well. I mean, it has a, of course, an E3D knockoff, but it's a volcano heater on that thing. And it's got an interesting connector on the back of the heated bed, so it's not going anywhere. I kind of like that design choice. The direct drive, the fan duct on it doesn't look like it's really in an ideal position, but surprisingly it's printing well. I'm not sure where on something like that I could actually place a BL Touch or an easy ABL or what have you, but anyway. Another one I have on the sidelines here is a CR10S Pro. Gentleman bought it, and I guess the wife didn't approve, so I got it for a song. And it had issues. It had a really gummed up extruder. And I have since bought a Bondtech one, and I also bought from Tiny Machines an improved part cooling fan duct. So that's on the sidelines waiting for this to get out of the way to be featured in another video doing some upgrades. I wasn't sure about that printer, but Teaching Tech had so much positive things to say about it. It was hard to turn down for the price I got it for. So Yes, the Creality CR-30 print mill. Yeah, and you know, Naomi Wu and Creality and all that. Uh, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just unimpressed. Um, but at any rate, yeah, I have seen that. You know, that's a incarnation. There's about 4 or 5 people over the years that have done 45-degree or belt printing or what have you. So, but I have seen it. I saw that Chuck was having some difficulties with their beta. And the other thing that rubs me wrong is this is another Kickstarter machine from Creality. Creality has sold how many hundreds of thousands of 3D printers? Why do they have to crowdfund these things? So, but yeah, I mean, there are other people that have done that kind of print design, you know, where you're printing on the belt. The black belt printer is one of the ones. He's a developer. He does a lot of cure development. Field of use is his nick. But, and of course, the printer they sell is huge. But yeah, if you look it up on Google, it's called the Black Belt 3D Belt Printer, and it's quite something. They charge a good deal for it, but it's also open source. So, you know, with all that data being available, for someone to commercialize it, maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know, but yes, I did see it, and some of the reaction from some of the people I saw doing videos was like, you know, I liked in Shep's video, he was indicating that other people have done this, and that she's worked with these people to get it to this level. So on one hand, if they can fine tune that, work the kinks out of it, and make it available to people that want that, that's great. But when it was first mentioned to me, it sounded like they were taking credit for a lot of stuff that was already freely available. White Knight, that's right, yeah. Boy, I set up my camera too high. I have all this room for cartoon bubbles. No emails yet. I was potentially exposed to COVID recently, so I have been self-quarantined and awaiting the results of my tests. So, fun. No symptoms, so I'll see. So this print, just so you guys can see, it's looking really quite good. I haven't done a lot with volcano blocks. For the most part, I really haven't pushed my prints to the point where I really need them. I guess one of the rubs I have is I want to do a lot of big prints, but I need to be nearby when they're printed, you know. I can make a video every day now. I really ought to. It's funny because there's a lot of stuff going on here. One of the things that I had to spend some money to make some progress, but the funny story here is I have a set of these General Ultratech stainless steel digital calipers, and I had recently replaced the battery. And the one thing I was noticing is when I was taking measurements that when I went back to the 0 position, every now and then I would catch it, but I wouldn't really notice it, but it wasn't quite zeroing itself out. So I would do it manually. I'd hit 0, and then over time, I was taking multiple measurements, and I kept noticing that it would go back and forth between 1.4 and 0.9, or it just, long story short, my calipers were no longer accurate, and I guess what do you expect for $34 5 years ago from Lowe's. So I broke down, and I got myself a set of the Toyos, And this ran me about $171. But these guys, and I didn't pay to have them professionally calibrated because I needed them now. But I gotta tell you, if you're gonna have a bunch of printers and you're gonna want to do proper calibrations, man, you need the right tools. So what I've been doing over the last couple of nights with all of the printers that are up and operational, and I got a notebook full of all my little notes here, is I've been doing one wall cubes and calculating the correct extrusion multiplier for them. And I've also been making sure in my simplified 3D profiles I have the bead width set, not auto, set to 0.45. And that makes, when there's no variables, the math is easier. And as a result, I spent weeks arguing with that Chiron, and it turned out that all my measurements from my test cubes were all wrong. So I did a test cube last night. I made changes. I did a new print. Came out great. The one thing I'm battling with it right now is the retraction settings. So I need to get myself, Teaching Tech has some really great examples and G codes where you can put in a couple variables and that'll help. But yes, if you have the right tools, things work so much better. Well, I'm happy to say that this appears to be one of those episodes where we run into a few issues, we recover, and we're back up and printing. And I'm just trying to look something up here. I believe, well, that's interesting. Huh. So this printer is 250 by 220 by 200 millimeter, and it's selling for $360 on Amazon, and I'm sure they have various coupons or whatever sales going on all the time. That's an interesting price point for a printer that has this kind of print volume. Yeah, Matoya, yeah, same story. People kept telling me, oh, you get a real one. And I bought mine from, I was told that there's a lot of counterfeits out there on Amazon. So I went to, there were two places I could have gone to. If I wanted to have them professionally calibrated, I think transcat.com was the one I was going to go to. Instead, I went to MSC, and that's where I bought mine. This print's doing a pretty good job, and it looks like it's doing, yeah, 0.1 layer, because this would have been done by now, 0.2. So yeah, that's an interesting price point for this. I would have thought maybe it'd be a little bit less money being a smaller print volume, but the fact that it's got 2209s, it's got the bed leveling built in, and really, I mean, geez, you plug it in and you give it the Z offset and off you go. I certainly would like the firmware to be a little bit different, where you press the button twice and there's your baby step. It's there, but you got to chase it under the options menu. Well, let's see, out of the box, I have another USB cable, so that makes about 60 now. Another scraper. Well, an unsharpened scraper. Does that make it a scraper? Yeah, so I'm going to let this go for another few minutes here before I wrap up the feed. I didn't realize what time it was. Tomorrow's a work day. Ah, it's almost midnight. Okay, so I'm just putting away some of these additional tools. Okay, I'm gonna put that in the screwdriver spot. I have 3 more Allen wrenches to the collection now. As you can see, with all the 3D printers, I just kind of threw all the Allen wrenches into one little collection here. So my process is generally with a new printer, I'll do a couple prints on it and give it like a first thoughts video. You know, what I like, what I don't like. And see how that shakes out. But yeah, if you guys have any specific questions, by all means ask. Oh, that background, sorry, that's the furnace running. I do live up here in Maine, so it's definitely chilly up here. This print surface looks interesting. Yeah, no, it's a the glass bed's nice. The weather's been good. We went through a streak there where we were in the 20s Fahrenheit, and this the last couple of days we've been in the upper 40s and low 50s. So we got a nice little warm-up streak. Really? You want to do that conversion? I have a UM2+2, and I'm still using 2.85, and you know, that's such a nice printer. I really wish there was some sort of, someone told me that they were coming out with some new printers as well, but it'd be nice if there was a motherboard upgrade to that, to put it to trinamic drivers, and I'm not sure how many people would want to spend that kind of money on it. 80s, wow. But yeah, my Ultimaker 2 is, I definitely have a soft spot. I think it's been fantastic. This print right here, this is a pre-sliced. This came on the card. It's printing at 215. I think for this material, it probably is a little hot. One thing I like to do with all my materials is I like to do a temperature tower and find out what the sweet spot is. And of course, this thing is not going to want to focus at all, but I highly recommend doing these. They take a little while. They'll take about 2 or 3 hours, depending on the speed of your printer. But I was going to do a video because I had someone else ask me, well, how do you do those? I do mine in Simplify 3D. I just scroll through the layers, and then to match what it's doing on the STL, I match the temperature change. And this has been a great guide. I'll do this first with a new material before I do a extrusion multiplier. Oh, that's a good point, Fernando. Yeah, I run into the same situation here in the States. I mean, there are sometimes, you know, I got a wall back here that, you know, that top shelf is my 2.85 millimeter filament, and then the other 3 are all my 1.75. So if I need to print something on the Ultimaker, it's like, oh, I have a very limited amount of colors. Hey, Marcel. My biggest thing with my printers is, I mean, I like to find printers that I know that can be upgraded with ease. If they have a strong Facebook community, even better, because most manufacturers just don't offer much of support at all. Aryon's been a little bit different. Arion, they're very active on their posts, so I'll give them credit there. But I know, for example, like with the Creality printers, I mean, the user community is where it's at. The Anycubic Chiron, there's a lot of support in that Facebook group. The Tornado was a little tougher. That Tornado has been sitting there idle for 2 years. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I have all the parts ready to go. I just don't trust that AC bed. Oh, you like to print fast. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this G code is just singing along here. Generally, most of my prints, if I'm printing from the SD card, I'll go as fast as 55 millimeters a second. Because a lot of the things that I print take over a day. I'm printing parts for BB-8. I'm printing parts for the Iron Man stuff, or whatever. So I want quality over speed. So if it's going to take a few more hours, I much prefer that versus trying to push my printer and my good luck, and wind up with a less than perfect print and wind up doing it all over again. But everybody's different. Yeah, most of my printers over here are all 300 by 300 by 400, and I like that size. I need a bit bigger. The FT6 behind me is 720 by 320 by 400, so it's an interesting big rectangle. Oh, the cat's found the toy. But for a lot of the stuff that I do, I mean, I can get away with smaller printers for, stuff like, the Baby Yoda stuff I've done. When it comes to BB-8 and a lot of the panel pieces I want to do for him, obviously the bigger the printer, the better. There are so many good printers at the 300 by 300 by 400 volume, like these two Arion Thinker S and then the SE. And then the CR10s, I mean, it's great support there. The Chiron is 450 by 400 by 400, and I still need to tune that some more before I trust it for longer prints. Oh, good job. Yeah, I haven't done a 3D printed R2D2. I have an all metal one. That took me 6 years. That's a lot of 6061 aluminum alloy. You don't want to know how much I spent buying all those parts and pieces and the ones that I made. Yeah, I've had that R2. I finished in 2009, so yeah, it's been coming up on 11 years. No, it is. I finished them in October 30. Yeah, Halloween of 2009. Started in 2003. No, there's Theodore on camera. Hey, what are you doing? FT6 is going well. The FT6, you can see a little bit there in the background. We've been getting some excellent prints off that. I think I have, no, I don't think this is, well, nope. I think I just moved all of the, I literally, in order to have the cameras ready, I had about 30 test cubes. So I had to clear that out. But no, it's been doing well. It's running all 2209 drivers. Trevor Schultz is really a genius. He's been invaluable and a great help to me. He walked me through getting an SKR 1.4 turbo on that thing. We initially had the extruder running 8729, but we had issues with it, so we just made it all 2209. And that is running one of these. I had it sitting here. Yep. This is the little LPC here that makes an SKR, the little LPC thing. Oh, maybe if I put it over here, that's better. But yeah, that's the magic right there. That turns it into a duet Wi-Fi, and as a result, it's running RepRap. And I can tell you, I have not played with Merlin 2.0, and playing with RepRap is so nice. No, I'm in that full-size C3PO group, and I have a lot of the Jesse parts, but I haven't done a lot of the prints. Thank you. Micro Scout, Stormtrooper. Wow. Good job. Marcel, you're in the same crazy hobbies I am. Yeah, you know, I had someone private message me and they asked me what my thoughts on the Chiron, and I was like, you know, there might be better out there. TH3D did an unboxing video, and then they did another video about some of the things to address with it, which is kind of too bad, because when people talk about some of these resin printers, Anycubic is like the printer to get. But on that Chiron model, boy, they really cheaped out in a few areas. I mean, I got the thing for $100. It was a return to Amazon, and Anycubic was like, "Well, we'll sell you this return for $100. You know, if you want to do, you know, play with it and do a story on your channel with it." Thank you. Yeah, just a little channel, just nerdy old me, my own little corner of the internet. I'm doing it because it's fun and I enjoy it. I enjoy some of these people that think they're gonna quit their job, or they get pissed off because they don't have more than 500 subscribers or whatever. It's like, relax. Just be you. But some of these people feel the impulse like they have to post a video every day or every week. Whatever success I've had, my secret is, if I won't watch it, I don't think you'll watch it. Okay, print completed. Oh, thank you, sir. I'm going to move the camera over here, and with any luck, I'm going to power this guy off. Try not to burn myself on the... And granted, marble is going to be a little tough to see. Thank you for your donation. I was wondering when there was going to pop up like that on Streamlabs. Very cool. So I'm not sure how... Oh, what do you know? Every now and then it focuses. I've learned at least about $2 worth of knowledge. That's great. Canadian currency at that. Hey, I'm only 90 miles away from Canada. So not a bad print. Tip, 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 tip. Here come the animals. So yeah, I gotta say, for a first print, and the cats are running around here. Great. Theodore, what are you doing? All right. Maybe giving them a catnip, hoping that they were going to stay doped up, and upstairs was a little bit of a big ask. So yeah, what do you guys think? Is it worth $360? It has sensorless homing, auto bed leveling, not a bad print volume. You know, if I had someone that was brand new to 3D printing and they were looking for something easy to start with, this might be the way to go. I wish it was a little bit less money than an Ender 3. The Ender 3, I think, is cheaper than this. And there's a tremendous amount of community mods and what have you for that thing. But outside of the stupid LCD cable being unplugged, and having to adjust a belt, this thing went together really nice. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I haven't done resin yet. I have mild asthma, so I've never had any trouble with my asthma, but I got a friend of mine that he brought home a resin printer, and his, oh boy, it damn near killed his wife. So, you know, that's one of those things that you never really know. The other thing too is, like I said, I've got a 3-bedroom house and a nice full basement here where I can play with all my toys. But I also have pets, and I'm not sure if I have space for a resin printer. That would be it wouldn't be a magnet for pet hair. So maybe someday when I have quadruple the amount of subscribers and YouTube and blah blah blah, I can build my own laboratory. Whatever. But yeah, I just think right now for me, I'm not sure I'm ready to get one right yet. I do have a 3rd bedroom that I was planning to use for my computer room, but depending on the right resin printer, maybe we can put it in there because there's a window and some ventilation, which would be important. Well, as everyone tells me, when I do these things, I should do them more often. And I enjoyed this tonight. YouTube and Streamlabs was a pain in the ass. I tried 3 times to get the live stream to work, and neither software would talk to each other. So the 3rd try was the charm. I'm glad you guys found me. If you guys aren't already subscribers, please subscribe to my channel, give the videos a like. Certainly love your feedback, appreciate your comments. And if you haven't found the Facebook page, that is Where Nerdy Is Cool. And also on Instagram, Where Nerdy Is Cool. I tend to post a lot of stuff about what I'm doing here, and I also I work at a research facility at the university where I am one of the operators of the world's largest 3D printer. So I get to work on giant printers as well. Unfortunately, due to my nature of work over there, I can't always tell you guys what I'm working on. Military stuff, guys, sorry. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. It's well after midnight. It's probably bedtime for me, probably for you too. I thank you guys for watching. Remember, this is Where Nerdy Is Cool. And be sure to check out my videos. And thanks for watching.